Yo, what's the word, YouTube? Black Ronin checking in. Different kind of video today, but still related to prepping, still related to what we see going on in the world. But are you out doing the things? So today, I'm doing the things. I was tired of sitting in the house. It's winter here in Michigan. So I was like, I need to get out and need to do something. So got my bag on, got my gear in my bag. But as you can see, I'm out here in the woods right now. Pro tip, but I'm still in the city. Like, I haven't left, I haven't gone anywhere, but Google Maps is your friend. And so essentially use Google Maps. I look for wooded areas, parks, that kind of stuff, something secluded, and I'm going exploring. But I figured, hey, this gives me an opportunity to use my gear, to put the bag on, do a little rucking with it, check out the weight, use some of the gear inside the bag. Like I said, so it's sort of like a little day hike, maybe a little day camp. Kind of cold out here, so, dressed accordingly. But at the same time, I'm feeling like, I don't know how long I'm going to stay out here camping. But I am walking around, I'm checking it out, putting these boots to work, put some of these base layers, like I say, this bag. Got my tarp in here in case I want to sit down and pop a squat or something. Also practicing a little tracking. Stuff like this. I don't know if I can reverse the camera while it's mid-recording, but, poop on the ground and shit. What is that, a raccoon? Maybe. Looks like Scat Shack. But, it's pretty much undisturbed back here where I'm at. Mind you, I'm in the middle of the city of Detroit right now. But I'm undisturbed. I'm just out here in the woods, looking, seeing what we can find, exploring, urban exploration. So checking stuff out, looking for any signs of wildlife. I've seen some footprints from deer, that kind of thing. Wanted to see if I saw any wild turkeys and that kind of stuff out here, but so far so good. But like I said, this won't be a long video. I really just wanted to talk about doing the things. There's a lot of videos, a lot of speculation about Russia and Ukraine and what comes next, or what are the real motives behind it. Is it biolabs over here, charisma and money laundering. And like I said, we can get into the weeds on that kind of stuff. But, my attitude for 2022 is, find the silver lining, find the positive in everything. And part of that is not focusing on so much that's not in your control. The reasons why Russia, Ukraine is happening, whether it's white hats versus the black hats, like I said, all this stuff is C-suite information. And I'm not in the C-suite when it comes to world affairs, geopolitics, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I think what we should be doing is we should just be focusing on, regardless of who's in control or what we perceive to be happening, are you prepared to deal with it? Regardless, most of you, like me, are not part of that C-suite conversation. And so we're just going to either be in a situation where we're prepared and being proactive, or you're unprepared and you're going to be reactive. And with everything going on, with the uncertainty, I find it to be in a much better position. I have a better peace of mind knowing that I'm prepared for whatever might happen. Versus, being totally aloof with my rose-colored glasses on in the world, things happening, and then I just have to respond in crisis mode. You don't want to live your life in crisis mode. That's really not living, that's surviving. So you don't want to necessarily have to survive, you want to thrive. Granted, you might get into a point where you have to go into survival mode, but you don't want to live like that all the time, constantly in surviving mode, day to day, hour by hour, hanging on the edge, not knowing whether or not, things are going to go your way or go south. So I say all I have to say, notice I told you I was in the woods, so I got to, make sure shit don't jump out the bushes on me. That's something for that, because I'm prepared. But, hate to have shots ringing out too. Nah, I wouldn't even hate that. It would draw some attention, but it is what it is. But again, prepared for that. Like I say, where I'm at right now, there's wildlife. You know, we've got different wildlife in the city. Deer, raccoon, possum. Like I say, it's wild turkeys out here. There's coyotes where I'm at right now. We've got wild coyotes running around in the city too. And so, you know, I don't know if you all can see some of this area where I'm at, but it's completely secluded. You know, it's good and wooded area. In the far distance, you know, I can hear cars and traffic. But mind you, where I'm at right now, I'm pretty much secluded. No one can see me, you know. So this is cool. This is also part of thriving and surviving in a shit hits the fan scenario. If you live in the city, like I still do, although I have bought land outside of the city, it's undeveloped right now, but I do go camping up there. So I'm not totally locked in, although in 2022, I should have moved a long time ago and I haven't, so guilty. You know, I'm still in the city, in Detroit at that, so. But I'm prepared to get out the city and I got, you know, the proper tools where if shit hits the fan, you know, you're gonna get out the way or you're gonna get run over, you're gonna get mowed down, or both, you know. You don't wanna put Papa Bear in that position where it's me versus you and you stand in the way of me getting my family to safety. Like I say, it's a bad look for everybody on the opposite end of where I'm standing. So, you know, but like I say, if I had to take shelter, if the jackboot thugs were coming, you know, where could you go take shelter? You know, bugging out is cool, but let's say your bug out plan requires you to drive some hours away and you might not, you know, have the opportunity when things first jump off just to jump in the car and drive for hours on end. You might have to lay low and hunker down, bunker down just for a little bit. Let all the lemmings hit the road first, block up traffic and stuff like that. And then maybe you leave after them, or maybe you have to leave at night first thing in the morning so you're not out there stuck in the traffic with everybody. But maybe it's not safe to stay at the house. You know, maybe it's gangs and marauders and, you know, whatever else going on. But what if you had to take shelter somewhere else, but close? And so that's kind of what I was thinking. It's like, you know, I need an excuse to use my gear and get out here. And a lot of the hiking and metro parks and state parks, you know, they're not in the city of Detroit. You know, this is a completely urban area, but there is a lot of green space in Detroit. And due to the financial crisis of 2008, had a lot of people lose their homes. A lot of things just are blighted. You know, that's part of 08. That's also part of, you know, NAFTA, globalism, you know, moving jobs outside of the city. You know, thanks Big Three. It was cheaper to make the cars overseas and to bring them back and still mark them up. But you didn't have a population to sell them to. But different conversation. But I say all that to say is that there are places probably in your city too. You know, look on Google Maps, hit the satellite view, where you can probably get lost in the woods and do a little hiking, do a little urban exploration, you know. So that's essentially what I'm doing. Essentially, it's just a little exploration. It's just me kind of hanging out here in the woods. You know, say getting these boots dirty, getting a little mud on the bottom of them again, using my gear, you know, checking it out, and then talking to you all. Like I say, I want this channel, I want this video to be inspirational. It's a lot of fear pouring out here. It's a whole lot of what if this, what if that. And I'm not knocking that. I mean, you know, none of us know what's happening, so there's nothing wrong with the speculation. But it's like, for all the speculation that you're doing, even if you knew the exact playbook of who was at fault, what they were going to do with the date and time of how it was going to be done, what does that really change for you? I mean, at the end of the day, you're not a part of that club. You're not on that private jet. You know, you don't have a house over in the secret island somewhere or that underground base. You know, you, like me, probably have to go to work, pay some bills, you know, raise your family, do that kind of thing. So even if I had all that, quote, knowledge or information, would it change my plan? Potentially, like, oh, they're going to attack this area. Let me make sure I'm on this side of town or in this state Yeah, it could change like that, but for the most part, I mean, your resources are still going to be your resources. Your budget is still going to be your budget. So even with all that information, it potentially wouldn't change a lot necessarily. So I'm saying all that to say, look, regardless of what we see happening out here, regardless of what's going on in the world, you know, we can speculate till we're blue in the face. But the thing is, what's your plan? It's like, regardless, that's what you should be focusing on. That you should be preparing for, is the unexpected, the unknown. And like I said, little activities like this, you know, going out on a hike, going on a little walk, little exploration, this will help you put your plan together. This will help you use some of that gear. Like I said, it's cold in Michigan. I've never done winter camping necessarily, but I'm getting stir crazy being in the house. And so I was like, well, you know what? I'll go on a day hike. And I got on enough clothes and layers where I can come out here for a couple hours and hoof it and, you know, do a little exploring and, you know, put some miles on these feet. Nothing wrong with that. Pitching a tent out here tonight? Nah, that's not gonna happen. You know, we need a little more warmer weather. Like I say, there's still ice out here in parts of the ground. You know, frozen. It's definitely good and muddy. But, you know, I'm out here. And so I'm just encouraging you and everybody watching to get out there and do the things. You know, get your gear, do the things. Like I said, I'm out here by myself. You know, couldn't find anybody that wanted to go. You know, I don't have too many friends that are into the outdoors right now. You know, I'm at the point in my life where more than I want things, I want to have a good time. I'm looking for adventure. I need that adrenaline rush. So I'm trying to do things that I traditionally haven't done. So that's why I took up hunting last year, or the year before last. That was in 2020. That's why I bought some land to go camping and go up north and have fun. And I got go-karts and mini bikes to take off-road, you know, because I'm looking for adventure. I'm looking for something fun to do. You know, I'm not really entertained shopping, going to the mall. You know, I don't club, you know, drinking and, you know, all that kind of stuff. It don't really excite me. It don't entertain me. I did a lot of that in my 20s. You know, we partied, we bullshitted. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. So, you know, now, you know, I'm just looking for some adventure, looking to have a little fun while prepping. So it's like prepping is like the main agenda, main thing on the menu. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, we're in some very uncertain times and things could go left quick. But in the mean in between time, there's some things you can do to take a little wrinkle off your forehead, to have some fun out here, to have a good time, all while prepping. So look at this as practice for prepping. Like, oh, you know, you might have to bug out one day. Well, you know what? Let's go on a hike and use some of that gear. You know, if I find out that this knife is trash, I'll find out here, you know, cutting something before I'm out there on the run, hiding from the Blackhawks in the sky, and that's the only knife that I have. If it works out, then great. I got a good deal on it. If it doesn't work out, I've got a little time to replace it and find something that does. So, like I say, not gonna talk your ear off. That looks like a falcon or a hawk. Look at these big birds. What is that? Those aren't hawks either. That looks like a, what is that, an osprey? I don't know. Don't get me lying, y'all. There's 3 of them. But again, this kind of stuff you're not gonna get sitting in nature. And I don't know if you all can hear that motor. This is the Motor City. Like, I'm not far from cars right now. But again, there's nobody out here with me. And this in itself is kind of cool. Little peace, quiet, little solitude right here in the middle of the city. This is cool. So again, this is Black Ronin, just checking in, giving you the update, but just reminding you all, keep God first and do the things. Peace.